Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is part of the series of non-technical skills for technical people to help you thrive in your career beyond just the technical. So this video is going to be about collaboration, which is a very important skill for us to have when we work in a professional environment. Hopefully mastering this skill will help you grow into a leadership position such as a technical lead or a manager. Wherever you want to go, it doesn't have to be technical. I'll talk about what you need to do to get better at it. So let's go. Before we start, let's define collaboration. So collaboration is a bunch of people with different background, different skills, different ideas, working together towards a common goal. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about collaboration. So the first thing about collaboration you need to do is set your ego aside. When you collaborate, the idea is to bring everybody together and be open to all the ideas so that you have a much better picture of what you can do, what is the scope of the problem, and all that. If you don't put your ego in check, you will run into the problem where basically your project is going to be your idea done your way. And that's not what you want with collaboration. You want everybody's input, you want everybody to work with you. If your project ends up being exactly the way you set it out to be with your ideas, your work, your everything, then you did not collaborate. You have to work with other people. Other people have ideas. It is possible that a lot of your ideas are good ideas and everybody agrees with them. But in my experience, when you collaborate, different people have different ideas and different way they want to do things. And there's usually a minor change. Now, personally, I've collaborated a lot on projects, and it's hard when you work on something and you show it to somebody and then they're like, I would have done it differently, this doesn't work in this context and all that stuff. And it's very tough to get like criticism on your work. But if you check your ego at the door before you start a project and before you start collaborating, it makes it a lot easier to take in those comments, take in those suggestions, and create a much better version of what you were setting yourself out to do. So the second thing is you have to start with collaboration. You have to start working with other people before you work on the project yourself. If you don't do that, you open yourself to your ego being hurt. If you have a project that you have to work on, and the first thing you do instead of starting working on it, starting to design things and create things, you start by working with other people on this project and how to get it done properly. The third thing is you have to collaborate with others, even if it is not part of your job or your duties. The reason for that is that if you help people on a regular basis, if you work with people, if you give your input or you take input or you work well with others on a regular basis, then you are seen as a leader. You are seen as somebody helpful. You are seen as somebody who works well with others. Of course, don't force yourself on others if they don't want you or they don't need you. But if you are like, hey, I'd like to collaborate on this. This is a cool project. I'd love to help you. Or I see you're struggling. Can I help you? I heard you. I don't, not I see. I heard you struggling. Can I help you with your project or whatever? And if they say yes, then you're welcome. Good job. You're on board. If they say no, go away. If they do accept you and they do want to work with you, what you have to do is work with them. In order to be a leader, you have to be able to take orders. I know this is a weird thing to say, but you have to be able to work with somebody on their project, on their term, and help them their way. You can contribute, you will contribute. If you do work, you will put your input, you will put your style to it, but don't just force your ideas on others, especially when it is not your project to lead. So work with others, maybe make suggestions if you don't like the way it goes, but in the end, if it's not the way the person wants it to go, don't go there. The fourth thing is a good news for your ego, and that is that you don't have to pick every single idea that people propose. That being said, you still have to consider every single idea, give them the same amount of weight, give them the same amount of consideration. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, no, it doesn't mean that all idea will be picked, and then just basically mean that my idea is going to be the one that's going to be picked, and your idea sucks. And you can also incorporate certain aspects of certain ideas into your final project to make it better. Now, the good thing about that is that people who express their ideas and get involved and give input, whether or not their idea gets picked, usually those people are much happier with the outcome. And that's because they were considered. Their contribution was valued enough that you chose them to work with you and you considered their opinion. And maybe, unfortunately, it was not the right opinion, it wasn't the right way to lead the project. But those people's ideas were considered and taken into account, and they will be much happier because of that. The fifth thing is that collaboration is a long game. Collaborating once or twice is not going to help you boost your career. Now, if you lead a big enough project, yes, you might see it, but usually they don't give you that big project until you prove that you can work with others on small projects. You have to collaborate regularly, you have to work with people regularly. They are not machines. You can't just turn them on and off however you please. They are going to work at their rate, and it doesn't speed up. You can't allocate more resource to a person and make them work faster, right? They have to get used to you, they have to like you, they have to befriend you, they have to value you, they have to value your expertise, they all that. So it takes time to build those relationships. If you have a consistent pattern of working well with others, taking initiative, being a leader, people will recognize that and you will be rewarded. It's rare that a Steve Jobs comes into power. Like Steve Jobs are the exceptions, right? The people who want their ideas their way, screw you. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of those people out there. Most people who are leaders are people who play well with others. Of course, you'll have the odd Steve Jobs out there that will be just a jerk to everyone and their idea, their way or their highway, and they will be successful. But don't model your behavior on Steve Jobs. He was a great guy, but he was a little bit of a jerk. So it's very important to mention that people who become important people did it regardless of their technical skills. If you take a look, a lot of people rise to the top because of their people skills, because of their collaboration skills, because of all these non technical skills. And that's why it is very important in order to be successful in a technological career to work on skills that are not technical skills. You should work on your technical skills, but the other ones, the non technical skills, should never be neglected. They are actually way more important than your technical skills. You should see collaboration as networking done right. Like, yeah, you can add people on LinkedIn, you can talk to people at conferences and all that stuff, and you will basically get somebody's name and email, and you probably will never do anything with them again. If you want to do true networking, collaborate with other people outside. Leaders collaborate. Leaders take initiatives. Leaders work with and for others. If you know how to collaborate and you do a lot of collaboration, people will notice. People will be like, this is a person that I want to work with. And that's how you get the big bucks. That's how you get the big jobs. That's how you get your dream job. If you network and you collaborate and you work with others, especially the right people, will notice and they will be like, this person is a team player. So if you want to do leadership, if you want to network properly, collaborate with others. If you see on LinkedIn or if you see somewhere that somebody's working on a project, try and work with them, right? Especially with the code, right? With GitHub. If you have a public project, you can always submit a pull request. They may or may not accept it, but they'll see you, they'll know you do work. Networking is about collaborating. Good networking is about collaborating. You don't get much out of, hey, I know this person, right? You don't get much out of that. So that's the beauty of collaboration. If you help people, if you push people to the top through your collaboration, you're like, I'm going to help you get to the top. These people will usually bring you up with them. And that's how it works. That's how networking is done right. That's by working with people, helping each other, and really being like just good human beings all around. It's not about the best way to boost your career is to boost somebody else's. That's the best way I know how to describe it. If you help people, if you move them along, if you motivate them, and if you collaborate with them, you will get rewarded. All right, that's it for this video. If you want to see more about non-technical skills you need as a technical person, here's the next video in the playlist. It will be available once I release it. And if you want the playlist, it's right here. Click on either of those two videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.